Hey guys, I wanted to take a moment to do a quick disclaimer. I am not a political person by any means. This is all just the perspective of my good friend Runic. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. How's it going, guys? It is Epic here, and I am joined by my good pal, Mr. Runic.
Hello.
And I wanted to, by the way, bro, thank you for actually taking the time to do this. I know this is like a little bit out of the ordinary. I wanted to take a little bit of time for us to just talk about a few things. You know, what's been going on in your life. You know, some things that you've been dealing with, and how's life been going, basically. That's really it, man.
It's been going good. Yeah. I found employment.
Hey, me too. Me too, bro. No,
I don't sound so excited, but
no. Like seriously, no. A lot of my viewers know I was really struggling with like being unemployed and shit. Which that shit sucks. I'm gonna be. That is. Whew. Yeah, that's a whole other topic of conversation.
I am under the belief if we all worked 20-hour work weeks, mental health would just become more leveled overall.
Right.
We have to work, but we don't need to work to the point where we only have 2 days off and a couple hours when we get home from work.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, especially since like the job market nowadays is just so like it's bad. Like it's
as the kids say, cooked.
Yeah, it's definitely
deep fried.
It's definitely deep fried. I'm honestly surprised that I found my job. Like, I don't know. Everyone I've talked to has said that it's really, really difficult to get a job right now, and I don't know if that's just just a thing to say, but I don't know, man. It seems pretty true. It seems pretty freaking true.
I get tired of the AI thing because I come from a background in technology, and AI hasn't really. Everything that they've integrated it into has burned. It's just fallen apart in the ashes. I think what's really happening is that it's like a feedback loop. The tariffs, when it comes to companies, you know, they see the tariffs imposed. And they just, you know, they're like, we can wait 4 years. And so they're not too worried about that. So in the meantime, they've raised their prices. And so consumers stop buying because the prices get higher. And so they lay off staff and the loop begins. So they're not because they're not worried about moving stuff back here to America. They're like, we'll get a new president in 4 years. He'll take the tariffs away. We'll just double down the prices. We'll write it out. They've got the billions to do it. So I think it creates a vicious feedback loop.
Mm-hmm. Like how thing is though, how do you like solve that? Like, because
I mean, if we lift the tariffs, the biggest thing is moving jobs back here. But the problem is you'd have to find a way to control greed, which is just really hard. They're always going to want the cheapest employees. We bring so many H-1B visas. We're deporting all these people, and then we're turning around and welcoming them back as H-1B visa holders. And then they pay taxes back to their country of origin. So they're making really good money here in the U.S. Like software engineers, you may notice, are predominantly Indian. Some of them come from Asia.
Right.
And no hate towards them. You always have to blame the system that allows them to abuse it. Be honest, if someone said, hey, throw a brick at this window, I'll give you $1 million, you're going to abuse that. Yeah. I mean, I don't blame them for abusing a broken system.
I'd do it. Shoot.
So I have no blame for the Indian people of India and all that for coming over here and be like, shit, $130,000 for a software engineering job, free food at Google. Like, of course they take that. Who won it? It's a
better life. That's a better, yeah.
We take for granted for how much we have, but I mean, they did a news article. There's like a mountain of trash, and it's literally just trash, and it's the height of a large hill. And it's like, who wouldn't want to come to a country that's so well maintained in comparison and have all these benefits and all these opportunities? that we sometimes take for granted. I mean, they get a full ride over here, and companies love it too because they dangle that above them. They're like, we can send you back to the alleyways. You work harder, you code 10 times harder. With Americans, if you try that with them, they'll be like, oh, look, I just applied to one of your competitors. Bye. We have a lot more. We have a lot more pool, and they know that, so they're trying to find people that they can abuse. Um, That's not helping the job market either. Definitely not. But I think we're getting to a point where blue collar workers have been shouting for the fall of white collar workers, which means the rich people have won. I mean, if you turned the people that work together against each other, I mean, the engineers design the blueprints, the construction workers build it. They need each other. They need each
Right.
other to get things done. They're not enemies. They're one machine, one massive machine that work together. Um, and the scariest thing is if the blue collar market gets flooded, who's going to do the plumbing jobs? There's only so many commercial businesses. I mean,
Right.
think about all the white collar workers who are too tired to do their own plumbing or electrical work or HVAC, and so they pay you to come and do it. Once they all lose their jobs in the white collar field, and let me tell you, people who are fat, lazy, white collar, whatever you want to call them, if it comes between their kids starving and having to pick up a trade, they're going to pick up a trade. They did
Right.
4 years of college, they'll do 2 years of trade school, and then the next thing you know, you'll have a line out the door, and it's going to be a race to the bottom. So all these really, really high-paying blue-collar jobs right now, because they're in demand, that demand is going to fall, and those wages are going to just plummet.
That's scary to
So
think about.
we're kind of in a gridlock here, and then companies are just so obsessed with AI. But like I said, Ford just recently, I don't know if people have read the article on this, but they just brought back all their senior engineers. It turns out you have to have skilled engineers because ChatGPT can't replace decades of human experience.
Jeez.
So I'm not too worried about AI. I really am not worried about AI. You have to think they're trying to spin this as the next brain intelligence, human being level intelligence. We have no idea how our brains work. Every year they come out with an article about how our brains work, then a redaction a month later, and then another redaction. We have no clue how our brain works. And now we're expected in a year or two to put it inside a computer. It won't happen in my lifetime. Maybe if they get quantum computing, they can speed it along a little bit, but first we have to unlock the mind before we can recreate it digitally. So AI isn't really a big threat. It's more so the NFT scam pumped up. It's the NFT thing all over again, where they told you that these images have value. You need to buy these pictures. They have value. But it's that
Right.
on a much wider scale. So it will eventually crumble, and I think we're starting to see that crumble. It won't completely go away, but it definitely is not, I don't think, the main factor in jobs. Like I said, I think tariffs have put companies in this gridlock of just raising prices up and up and up. Because, like I said, they know that the current administration is temporary. They'll just ride out the storm. They do that with every recession or anything like that. They have a couple billion in reserves. They'll just ride it out and raise the prices. And what sucks is now that they know we can pay these prices, they're never going to bring them down. They'll only bring them down if it really hurts their margins. But if they raise the price of eggs to $10, let's just say, which is outrageous, but let's just say they raise $10, people pay $10. Why would they go back to charging a dollar or two for the pack of eggs? They know you're going to pay $10 now. They'll just keep it at 10. Rest in peace, RAM prices. I don't think we're ever going to see RAM get cheap again.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They know that we're willing to pay $400, $500 for it. So, voting with our wallets is our biggest power, and people just don't do it. They just don't. The only time we boycott, I feel like, is when we don't have it. Like, we'll put ourselves in deep debt before we'll quit consuming, which is why we'll never lose our world power. I mean, that's the one positive. We're the biggest consumer in the world. If we banned the products of outside countries coming in, we would cripple the entire world's economy. I mean, we buy so much useless crap. We will buy. We hold up entire nations with our buying. I mean, China's economy is just us. If we totally cut off China and they lost Europe too, they would just come crumbling down. Um,
So back
but
to so back to the AI thing, you don't think that in our lifetimes, or at least I'm saying like me and yours lifetime, that we'll be at the point where we're actually losing job opportunities to AI?
Not directed to AI. Do I think that they'll blame the AI, use it as a scapegoat? Of course, because you have to think of these investors. Imagine if I said I'm laying off 100,000 people in hopes of getting my bottom line up. As an investor, that would scare me. But if I say, hey, investors, I just integrated this new super intelligent technology that's going to fast track this company. You get hyped up. You're going to invest more money into it. So they're using AI as a face. All these layoffs are just, these companies are struggling. They're laying off people and they're saying they don't want to lose their investors. So they're like, whoa, these layoffs aren't because we're struggling. It's because we're advancing with AI. So it's all just it's all part of the propaganda machine that they push. They're really really good at it, and not all investors are dumb, but sometimes you have to follow the flow of water. So what happens is some people start to run, and then other people start to run with them. And there was a study done where why people all went up in applause when Hitler would do his speeches in Germany. And it was interesting. They found that if a couple people in a room start clapping, everybody follows
Right.
along.
No,
They
no, no,
socially are
no.
conscious.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually read up on this.
Yes.
What's the definition of it? Because like, oh my goodness, it's people are like, it's like under pressure, people are likely to conform, or more likely to conform if everybody's doing it. Because like I saw this, like they did like a study. They had everybody in a room. I think they had like 5 or 6 people in a room, and all of them, like someone said a joke that told a joke that was actually funny, and then of course people laughed, and then one person, that there were 5 actors. Let's say there was 5 paid actors that were told to, you know, laugh at this bad joke, right? And then there was 5 other non-paid people that were just there. So what happened is they told a joke that was just not funny at all, and the paid people laughed at it, and what do you know, only one person on the other side didn't laugh at the joke.
Yeah, it comes down to human instinct. We're
Right.
animals. We try to pretend to be these civilized creatures, but we are constantly played with the entire thing with software engineering and designing these apps like Instagram. They use our instincts and they take advantage of them. They get you hooked. It's the same
Algorithms
way
and stuff.
cigarettes and drugs get a hold of you. We try to act like we're so complex, but in reality, we're just like an advanced version of any other animal we see, like a squirrel or something. Not quite a squirrel, but you know what I mean. We're literally just an evolved version of that.
Right.
But yeah, human instinct is hard to beat out.
Think about it, we're such weird creatures. Like we're so weird, and I find that like just like very fascinating in a way, that we're just so like weird compared to, like, you know, I guess other animals in a sense. And it's so like, it's weird, man. And it's a weird concept. Because you're right. At the end of the day, we are just, you know, we're animals, and it's like, it's weird, man. It's just weird.
Yeah. I always think of this one Twilight Zone episode, because humans are so driven by they're so driven by fear. I think it's the Twilight episode, I believe, is the monsters are on Dew Maple Street, I think is what it's called. But they think the kid is the alien in the end. They all have themselves convinced. So they're gonna chase this kid down the street and murder him because they think he's the alien that's messing with their houses and their lights. And fear can be weaponized. Hate, fear, and all that can be so easily weaponized, and
Right.
it's weaponized every day. And we've gotten to the point now with social media, which you look back on the '90s and you see how carefree everybody is,
Right.
and that's because your news was kind of just, it was almost doctored. I can find a talking point for anything on YouTube. I can find somebody that will talk me into anything. I can find somebody that says fridges are God. We should all pray to the fridges in our houses. And so everybody is fragmented into these teeny tiny little groups, and these people just agree with them and just push out their talking points, and they fall for it. And then the YouTuber themselves, of course, is making bank. They're pushing sponsors, they're getting brand deals, and so they just keep pushing the stuff out. So I feel like we're just a country of micro cults, and what's scary too is it transcends parties, and both parties like to point fingers at each other and say that party's the brainwashed one. I think we've all been brainwashed. I think we've all fallen for it. We've all drinking the Kool-Aid,
I
and
think I think yeah, I
the
think
division is fantastic for them. I mean, we're never going to stop the rich people from screwing us. Or, there was a island where, well, I'm not trying to get you demonetized from YouTube, but there was an island where bad stuff happened.
right.
All of them, Democrats, Republicans, they're in office still. They're just chilling. They got away with it. They're asking for a raise, by the way, to take naps during Congress meetings. They don't think their 200,000 is enough per year. They want more money, and then the average American is scrambling to eat crackers to
Yeah,
survive and eat.
seriously. Yeah.
But
Oh
no, I'm
man.
very I'm not anti-government per se, but I am anti the two-party system. We were never supposed to be a two-party system. Two-party systems always fail, and unfortunately, our other parties aren't too strong enough to beat the two-party system. They've purposely put themselves in a position where there's no party that will rival the Democrats and Republicans, and they know that. And I feel like when it comes to social policies, they're very different. But when it comes to money, they love to screw over the American taxpayer. Democrats are a lot more. No, we're the rich screw the rich, and they're a lot more. I feel like they like to pretend like they don't do it. Um, Republicans do sometimes too. Some Republicans are more outgoing about it, and the push for capitalism. This is good. We should give these companies the power. They'll make more jobs. But in the end, I feel like that we never get the trickle down. We just get they just stop the faucet in their wallets.
That's scary to think about.
I mean, history never repeats itself word for word, but it does rhyme. And I do think there's going to be a point. You can only push people so far, especially if they have children. People with children, if their kids are looking at their mom and dad and saying, "Mom, I'm hungry," that's when normally the Second Amendment comes out and the pitchforks are lit, and we have the France situation where they're taking the rich people up and they're dropping them off with the rope. And I hope it doesn't get to that point.
I hope not
Um,
either. That's a
we're
scary. That's
Well,
a
the
yeah.
people always are like, no, no, that's a good thing. We'll take out the bad guys, but not every regime change is good.
I
I
don't
mean, look
think
at Soviet Union to Russia. Which one's better? I mean, they both look like crap. I wouldn't want to be under the Russian regime or the Soviet Union. So just because we overthrow the current regime doesn't mean the one that comes to take its place will be good. It could be much worse. It could be a full-on dictatorship. So voting is still the way to go. I'm not a big fan of the picket protesting where you just stand in the street and dance around with a sign. I feel like that raises awareness, but it nowadays it just feels so not staged per
barbaric.
se, but not barbaric. It just feels like it feels out of touch, because it feels almost like these people aren't the average the average American stuck at work. They can't take off for a protest, and that's
Right.
the cruel humor of the current capitalist system is even if you really wanted to inflict change, you got work in the morning. You don't
Yeah,
have time
you
to
can't
plan
just
anything.
yeah, you can't
You
just
can't
take
stop.
off
The
work.
machine
Yeah.
doesn't let you stop. And that's by design. If you stop, then you'll start to think, and if you start to think, you'll start to question. They don't give you time to ask questions. You got work, you got bills, you have to do chores, you have to run errands. You're constantly on the move. If you stop and think, you'll start to question things. So then they give you the phone, they give you social media, and so they constantly keep you hooked up to the machine there. I always like to think of the Matrix movie where he's like plugged in the pod. They
Yeah.
always keep you like plugged in, so you don't have time to truly sit and think. Because
You
if you
know,
really sit and think, you start to question the regime, and that's not good for them.
that's really freaking weird that you say that, because when I was unemployed and I didn't have a job, I had nothing but time to think. And you remember, we can't actually talk about those conversations on this episode, but you remember those conversations we were talking about and how scary some of those were.
When you
Um,
start to dig, you start to
you
notice
start to notice things.
that everything has been planned out. I mean, think back to school. I'm working a corporate job now. My counselor was HR, my principal was the VP, and my teachers were my managers, and my assistant teachers were the team leads. From the very beginning, we have been bred from birth to work a 9 to 5, to show up on time every day. What happens if you don't show up on time to school? You get in trouble.
You get in
You
trouble.
get
Yeah.
you get too much in trouble. You get suspended or expelled, aka fired. They from the very very beginning, since we were brought into this earth, we
Babies.
have been
Yeah.
perfectly manipulated and turned into the perfect worker. And they push us for college, and so we go to college, and then the colleges become very wealthy, and they say, well, I know you're here to learn about programming, but while you're here, why don't you take an art class and or an English
Stuff that
class?
you don't. Yeah.
Yeah, and they charge you money for that, and they put you in more debt, and they give you these really aggressive loans, such aggressive loans, loans that no normal adult would take out for a car or anything out. The interest rate on these are vicious, and they know it. Um, and I think what's scary is they somewhat, for a while, they let us have some good. They let the people that went through college get a job. They let them work and be able to provide for a family, own a house and a car. But then they're like, we're giving the poor people too much. We're going to take that away. And Gen Z's been dealt that hand. They took away all the stuff. So now you have to ask yourself, we're told to work for what at this point? For a house? Can't get one. For rent? So it can go up in a year. My wages won't keep up with the rate of rent. They won't. I'm making less money this year than I was last year, which is crazy because I have a higher number per hour, but it's still not keeping up with how fast inflation's going. So it's almost like I feel like Gen Z is becoming more vocal about this, is because
To a
now
certain
we have
point.
time to think.
To a certain point, what do we? Okay, but to a certain point, what do you even do? Like what? Like genuinely, what is the solution to that? Because, like, in my situation with my job, there's no way in hell that I could afford rent, let alone buy a house. There's no way. That like, there's genuinely no way. So what the fuck do they expect for us to do? That people like just be homeless? Like what? Like what? What are they? Are they trying to like? I'm gonna have to bleep this out. Are they trying to like kill us off?
I don't think they're gonna kill us off. I think jobs are gonna start coming with apartments. I think they're gonna be like, and then guess what? Why wouldn't you work your ass off for that company?
If
You'd
you get
lose your house.
if you get free housing, or, yeah.
You'll lose your housing. You'll be on the streets. You'll work till you bleed for that company. You'll work till your bones show. And they love that. They're sick, twisted people. They have no morals. When you ask them why they need more, they just want more. What is the motivation? More money. More money. It's never enough. They must have more. They have to have vaults stacked on top of vaults. They're gonna keep pushing until they have it all. Like I said, normally history when it gets to that point, there's normally a refresh cycle, which is its own problem. But I think in terms of what I've been doing is weaponizing the 9 to 5 to try to use it as a crowbar. Having a job isn't a bad thing. Having a stable job isn't a bad thing.
I
Setting aside money and trying to use it to start a business is not a bad idea in 2026. Find a side hustle. You almost have to have one now. You don't need to become rich from it. People will say you need to start a business and become a millionaire. Imagine if you made $80,000 a year from your business. That's almost enough to live here in Ohio as a single person. You don't need to become a million. Your business doesn't need to make you a millionaire. If it can make you a living wage, you're out of the system and you're working for yourself. So
it's a deep topic, man, and this also ties into the other thing that we had wrote down: the burnout, man, and the social anxiety struggles, and people's motivation too.
I think people are getting so demotivated and burnt out at work because they're trying to use automation, AI, and that, and they're trying to basically say, work harder, work harder, work harder. And so people are being squeezed harder than they ever have been before. And they're just breaking.
Right.
Uh,
Do you think, okay, this is dangerous area of conversation, but do you think, and I want to express this really quick, guys, I do not support any of this about what I'm about to talk about, because it's very messed up, and it's very real, because it happens every day. The things. Do you think people are just straight up like just snapping and just being like, fuck it, they're just in that person's insane mind? Do you think that at a certain point they snap to a point where they're just like, it doesn't matter, like, if I try,
100%.
if I try, I'm gonna fail. It doesn't fucking matter. Like,
look at mental unwellness and you'll see both charts trend up almost not entirely the same, but for the most part, every time they capture a school or alive, they're mentally unwell. They are very mentally unwell individuals. They're not all there. I mean, to bring yourself to harm other people like that, you cannot be
seriously,
mentally well.
no, at all.
And this is where I find it once again hubris. Like I said, fear and all that is good for control. Neither party has tried to really tackle mental health. They both turned a blind eye. Because if they cure mental health, people are happier, healthier. When you're healthy, when your mind is healthy, your soul is healthy,
You thrive.
you're more confident.
You tend to thrive, yeah.
If you're confident, once again, tying back into questioning the system, they can't have people questioning the system. That's how it crumbles. That's how they lose control. Even if it comes down to voting, like people saying, all right, screw both parties, I'm voting for a third party. They can't have that. They got to keep people divided and scared. It's the only way to push their narratives. And again, I feel like at this one point, this is very conspiracy theory of me, I believe in the uniparty. I believe a long time ago, both parties came to the same conclusion. If we want absolute power, we have to team up behind closed doors. And when the TV cameras are on, we gotta point and scream at each other and say this party's evil, that party's evil, that party eats children, that party burns orphanages down, and then they divide the people up, and it's perfect. It's perfect chaos. It's just the right enough amount of chaos to keep everybody in line.
These are scary topics, Runic. Like, it's disturbing because it makes you think, and it makes you.
The Matrix movie says it best: ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss. On that note, I think that's where we'll end it. I think that's where we'll end it, bro.
All right.
Golly, man, that was so that's what goes through your mind on a daily basis, huh?
Yes, constant questions,
Constant
non-stop
questions.
Well, even with the ADD medicine, it doesn't quiet.
Yeah, that's another thing too, guys. Runic actually, he's severely ADD. He actually told me before we started recording this. He said he's walking ADD. So,
I'm basically the definition on legs. It's non-stop thoughts and non-stop questions 24/7. I don't know how to explain it to people either. It's not quite like voices in your head, but it's almost like staying in the middle of 5 interstates crossing over each other with all the cars driving everywhere and trying to capture one of those cars. It's just nonstop.
Nonstop chatter.
Nonstop chatter, yeah. Which
How
can
do
be
you
beneficial.
How do you sleep at night?
Melatonin.
Melatonin, man, good old melatonin. That stuff stopped working for me. I couldn't. I tried it, it just stopped working. I don't know.
I don't know how I'd live without it.
And another thing too that we talked about briefly is you said you're down 50 pounds. You started like a weight loss journey, and you've been doing
keto.
the keto diet.
I've tried them all, and I had a few years ago, a young nurse student told me, you got to try keto. I said, whatever, there's all these fad diets. And so I went down the list, and keto was at the bottom because keto is tough. Anybody who knows keto,
Yeah,
you
keto is
restrict
very
your food
difficult.
groups very narrowly. And it's not good for kidney stones. It's not great for the heart because it's so meat based, but I've tried to stick to leaner meats and exercise along with it. But I'm trying to reverse prediabetes. I girded type 2 there for a second, but I find out next Thursday if I actually crossed the line or if I've reversed it. I'm hoping, knock on wood, according to what Google AI said, Gemini said, is that I should have reversed it just by the percentage of fat I dropped, but I won't know for sure till the blood work is done. But yeah, trying to make myself healthier. Healthy body, healthy mind.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
cannot
awesome.
stress that enough.
That's awesome, man. That's really good to hear, because I know that me and you have actually had a lot of conversations about, your struggles with, weight and all that. When I was real big in the gym, and I'm gonna be real with you, lately I've been slacking. I'm the heaviest I've been in a long time, and I can feel it, man. It's weird. And this new gym opens up here in like 4 days, so hopefully I'll be able to get back to where I was and all that stuff. It's just a constant battle every day. Mental and physical.
Yes, we used to just be outside all the time and just moving throughout the day, and we're either stationary, and standing is good for you. It really is, but standing still all days or just walking, they never tell you this, but just walking short distances. So like I worked in like a warehouse style job, and it's like you're walking, sure, but you're not walking. I'm not walking 5 miles one way and 5 miles back. I'm walking, stopping, and it doesn't give the same boost to your body as actually going outside in nature and walking long distance gives you. And so we've invented an entire business around fitness, and people make money, and we have gyms now. I'm fortunate enough to where I work now has a free gym, so I've been using that.
Isn't that crazy to think that you gotta pay money to get fitness at a certain point?
The nice thing is,
it trickles back into our giant conversation about the. Anyways.
Yeah, we could get totally sucked back. 2 hours later.
Yeah. Anyways, man, I enjoyed this, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this. This has been great, bro. Do you have a YouTube channel still that I can give them a link?
Oh god, I have an old Minecraft one. I'd love to start doing more vlogging stuff. Maybe once I'll give you the new channel link, because I'd like to start doing more real life stuff. Maybe some of those cringy day in the life videos too. You know what? I'm a sucker for those. I know some people find them cringe, but one of the ones where you wake up in the morning and have coffee.
I've always wanted to do some videos like that.
I think it's just fun to share perspectives. I love seeing other people's perspectives. It's so nice nowadays to see what other people are going through, their struggles, their achievements, and it helps you plan your course. Maybe not copy them, but it gives you perspective on, what's achievable. Like if you see somebody that's struggling financially like you, and you see what they're up to, and you're like, wow, I didn't even know I could achieve this at this level of financial debt, and here they are doing this and all this amazing stuff. And I think those videos can be very relating and very soothing to the soul, and very connecting and community wise. It's like the same thing back in the day as swapping stories with people, strangers.
Yeah.
It's that on a broader scale. And with the searches now, you can narrow it down. So it's interesting.
Yeah, that's honestly what you just said is that's about what that's honestly what my channel's about, is sharing my experiences and perspectives that throughout my life, and maybe I could spread some wisdom or even help somebody. You know, that's all about what my channel is, man. That's really it, honestly.
Yes, free wisdom is always the best kind.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, because it feels good, helping somebody in need. I was always taught, if somebody's in need, go out of your way to help them, because not only is it the right thing to do, it'll make yourself feel better as well. So, but yeah, man. I think I'm gonna end the episode here, brother.
Alrighty, sounds good.
Later, guys. See ya.